In an era when smartphones have become an extension of the hand and social media a part of consciousness, a new phenomenon is born: digital eco-activism. Modern teenagers who grew up with gadgets are turning technology to protect the planet. They are not just observers of the global environmental crisis, they are becoming its solution. With a single tap on the screen, young activists launch petitions that gather millions of signatures, organize international flash mobs, and create viral content that changes the habits of millions of people. Digital tools allow them to act on a scale inaccessible to previous generations. Behind every successful environmental challenge lies not just entertainment, but a deep transformation of the teenager's personality and their surroundings. When a school child starts sorting trash or refuses plastic, it inevitably affects family habits. Parents, inspired by their children, reevaluate their attitude towards consumption. Thus, virtual activism penetrates reality, changing not only the digital but also the physical world. Environmental activism has come a long way in its transformation since its inception in the 1960s. The first environmentalists took to the streets with placards, blocked logging with their own bodies, and sent paper letters to politicians. Their tools were leaflets, newspapers, and personal meetings. Everything changed in the mid-90s when the internet began to penetrate the masses. The first environmental websites and forums seemed revolutionary. Activists from different countries could exchange experiences without crossing borders. The birth of electronic petitions in the early 2000s opened a new chapter in the history of eco-activism. Now, expressing protest didn't require going out onto the street. A few clicks were enough. A real breakthrough occurred with the advent of social media. The campaign against the deforestation of the Amazon in 2008 gathered its first million signatures online, demonstrating unprecedented speed in mobilizing public opinion. Modern eco-activism exists in a hybrid reality. Digital campaigns become triggers for real actions. Greta Thunberg's school strike turned into a global movement thanks to the hashtag Fridays for Future. Apps for tracking carbon footprints are changing the consumer habits of millions of people. Virtual trash-collecting flash mobs transform into real cleanup days. Blockchain technologies are used for transparent tracking of supply chains for eco-friendly goods. Teenagers create viral videos exposing corporate environmental crimes and gather millions of views in a matter of hours. Digital activism is becoming not a replacement for real actions, but their catalyst, multiplying the effect of each initiative. Why do teenagers specifically become the flag bearers of the digital eco-movement? Psychologists point to a unique combination of factors that make young people aged 13 to 19 particularly susceptible to environmental issues. At this age, personal identity and a value system are formed. The search for the meaning of life and the desire to change the world for the better naturally channel teenagers' energy into environmental activism. According to Stanford University research, 72% of young people consider protecting the planet one of the most important tasks of their generation. Furthermore, teenagers have grown up in an era of smartphones and social networks. The digital environment is their native element, where they feel more confident than adults. This combination of environmental awareness and digital literacy creates a powerful force for change. The statistics are impressive. 1 in 3 teenagers worldwide has participated in at least one online environmental campaign. A petition against plastic straws, launched by a 16-year-old activist from Canada, gathered 2 million signatures and led to changes in the policies of major restaurant chains. Environmental videos created by school children garner tens of millions of views, shaping trends and altering consumer behavior. Teenagers' motivation is not limited to abstract concern for the future. For them, eco-activism is a way to find their voice, feel their significance and their ability to influence the world. It is a path to recognition among peers and an opportunity to confront the existential anxiety caused by news of the climate crisis. In the digital world, teenagers use an impressive arsenal of tools to promote environmental ideas. Social platforms have become the main weapon of young activists. Instagram has turned into a showcase for environmental initiatives where visual content clearly demonstrates the consequences of plastic pollution or deforestation. TikTok, with its viral distribution algorithms, allows environmental challenges to reach millions of viewers in a matter of hours. A 15-second video about proper waste sorting can get more views than a professional documentary. Messengers and group chats have become the nervous system of environmental movements. Telegram channels coordinate local cleanup actions, while WhatsApp groups turn into platforms for exchanging experiences in zero-waste living. Specialized applications expand the possibilities of digital activism. Carbon footprint tracking programs allow teenagers to clearly see the impact of their daily decisions on the planet. Plant recognition apps turn an ordinary walk into a scientific study of biodiversity. Petition platforms demonstrate stunning effectiveness. A campaign by a 14-year-old schoolgirl against single-use plastic bags, launched on change.org, led to a change in policy by the largest supermarket chain. Crowdfunding platforms allow teenagers to raise funds for environmental projects, from installing solar panels in schools to financing research into alternative energy sources. Analysts predict revolutionary changes in eco-activism tools. Augmented reality technologies will allow visualizing the consequences of climate change directly on city streets. Artificial intelligence will help personalize environmental recommendations and optimize resource-saving practices. Blockchain will ensure the transparency of environmental initiatives and allow tracking the real impact of each action on the environment. Virtual eco-projects by teenagers today are becoming powerful catalysts for global change. A vivid example is the Ocean Cleanup Junior platform, created by 14-year-old Boyan Slat from the Netherlands. Starting as a school project, the initiative grew into an international movement with over 5 million young participants developing technologies to clean plastic from the ocean. The life cycle of a successful teenage eco-project typically goes through 6 key stages. First, an idea is born, often as an emotional reaction to a problem observed. Then, a team of like-minded individuals is formed through school communities or social networks. The third stage is attracting attention through viral content, challenges, or petitions. This is followed by implementation, transforming digital activity into concrete actions. The fifth step is scaling through engaging new participants and reaching an international level. The cycle concludes with evaluating results using digital metrics and real ecological indicators. The methodology for creating effective virtual eco-projects for teenagers has its own peculiarities. A key principle is gamification, transforming ecological actions into an engaging process with a system of achievements and rewards. The Trash Tag Challenge project, launched by a 16-year-old activist from Sweden, attracted millions of teenagers due to its competitive element and clear demonstration of results in a before and after format. It is also important to consider teenagers' need for social recognition. Successful projects always include mechanisms for public approval, participant ratings, honor boards, and the ability to share achievements on social media. The Forest Guardians app, created by a group of high school students from Brazil, allows users to earn virtual badges and increase their status in the community for specific actions to protect forests. Social networks have become true incubators for teenage environmental initiatives. The hashtag #TrashTag, launched by 15-year-old Byron Roman, has turned into a global phenomenon with over 3 million posts. The essence of the challenge is simple. Photograph a polluted area before and after cleaning. This initiative has led to the cleanup of thousands of hectares of land worldwide, without requiring complex organization or funding. What makes teenage eco-campaigns on social media so successful? Researchers identify 5 key factors. Firstly, the visual component. Bright, emotional images that evoke an instant response. Secondly, ease of participation. Actions must be clear and accessible to everyone. Thirdly, an element of competition, stimulating engagement. Fourthly, transparency of results, allowing one to see the real impact. And finally, the possibility of personalization, adapting the activity to individual capabilities. A telling example is the #NoStrawChallenge flash mob, initiated by a group of high school students from Singapore. Participants refused plastic straws, filming creative videos about alternative solutions. Within 6 months, over 2 million teenagers joined the movement, which led to a 30% reduction in plastic straw consumption in Southeast Asian countries. However, not all online initiatives are equally effective. An analysis of unsuccessful campaigns reveals typical mistakes: excessive complexity of actions, lack of visible results, insufficient interactivity, and templated content. Research shows that the most sustainable results are yielded by campaigns that combine digital activity with real-world actions and create a sense of community among participants. Participation in online ecological movements is becoming not just a hobby for modern teenagers, but also a powerful psychological resource. Research shows that young eco-activists demonstrate higher indicators of psychological well-being and stress resilience. When 16-year-old Maria launched a virtual project to save urban parks, she not only drew attention to the problem of tree felling, but also found a new identity, that of a nature protector. Digital eco-activism acts as a natural antidote against eco-anxiety, a growing psychological phenomenon among young people. Every third teenager today experiences anxiety related to news about the climate crisis. Action instead of panic. That's what participation in online ecological initiatives provides. The ability to influence the situation with concrete steps transforms powerlessness into a sense of control and significance. The therapeutic effect of ecological activity is also confirmed by neuroscientists. Upon the successful completion of an ecological project, the brain produces dopamine, a neurotransmitter of pleasure and motivation. And social approval in the form of likes and reposts stimulates the release of oxytocin, strengthening the sense of belonging to a community of like-minded individuals. However, there are also psychological risks. Excessive involvement can lead to burnout, especially when a teenager encounters a lack of understanding from others or sees insufficient progress. Researchers recommend that parents maintain a balance between activism and other aspects of a child's life, encourage the celebration of even small victories, and help form realistic expectations for their activities. Virtual ecological communities have become true incubators of new thinking for the digital generation. In these online spaces, not just ecological knowledge is formed, but a holistic worldview and a system of values. Young people find here what is often lacking in traditional education: a practical focus and emotional engagement. The Earthrising community, created by school children from different countries, gathers over 300,000 teenagers daily. A unique mechanism of mutual learning operates here. Participants share ecological life hacks, discuss scientific articles in simple language, and jointly develop solutions to local environmental problems. 15-year-old Sofia from Novosibirsk, thanks to advice from peers in this community, launched a composting system in her school. which reduced food waste by 70%. Researchers identify several types of online ecological communities, each of which forms specific skills. Information platforms such as Climate Teens develop critical thinking and media literacy. Teenagers learn to distinguish scientifically substantiated facts from ecological myths and manipulations. Project communities, for example, green startups, cultivate planning skills, teamwork, and the ability to bring initiatives to concrete results. Support groups play a special role during periods of ecological crises or activist setbacks. When 13-year-old Mark's project for separate waste collection at school met with administrative resistance, it was the support of online, like-minded individuals that helped him not give up and find an alternative solution. Digital ecological communities are becoming not just a source of information, but true incubators of a proactive life stance. Teenagers who regularly participate in such groups demonstrate higher civic engagement in other areas of life as well. They are more likely to initiate social projects, participate in volunteer programs, and display leadership qualities. When a teenager becomes an eco-activist, it inevitably changes the dynamic of the entire family. Children, inspired by the ideas of protecting the planet, turn into true conduits of ecological values for their parents. A unique process of reverse socialization occurs. Now, it's not adults teaching children, but children becoming teachers for the older generation. 17-year-old Elisa, an activist for the movement to refuse single-use plastic, gradually changed her entire family's habits. At first, her parents viewed her passion skeptically, but her daughter's patient explanations and personal example did the trick. Reusable shopping bags, bamboo toothbrushes, and a refusal of packaged goods became the new norm for the entire household. However, the path to ecological consensus is not always smooth. In the family of 14-year-old Kirill, who launched a paper recycling project at school, a serious conflict arose when the boy began to criticize his parents for using a car instead of public transport. The parents perceived this as an encroachment on their authority and lifestyle. Psychologists note that the key to harmonious relationships in such situations is mutual respect and a readiness for dialogue. Teenagers should avoid moralizing and an accusatory tone, and parents should learn to see their children's ecological initiatives not as teenage rebellion, but as a manifestation of responsible civic engagement and concern for the future. Teenage environmental activism can transform not only the virtual space, but also the daily life of an entire family. When 14-year-old Maxim began participating in an online campaign for conscious consumption, his parents initially treated it as just another hobby. However, a few months later, their kitchen cabinets were filled with reusable containers, and plastic bags gave way to fabric ones. Thus begins the transformation of everyday practices, subtly but steadily. Studies show that in families where children are actively involved in environmental movements, significant changes in daily habits occur in 80% of cases. Waste sorting becomes the new norm, and it's the teenagers who initiate it, teaching their parents the rules of waste separation and explaining its importance. The family of 16-year-old Anna from Kazan reduced the volume of unsorted waste threefold in a year, and used the money saved on waste disposal to buy energy-saving lamps. Conscious consumption is another area of family transformation. Teenagers bring home ideas of minimalism, circular economy, and responsible shopping. Family trips to the store turn into lessons in ecological literacy, where the carbon footprint of products, ethical production, and the necessity of each purchase are discussed. The mother of 15-year-old eco-blogger Kirill admits, "My son taught me to read ingredients and avoid impulse purchases. Now I ask myself, do I really need this item?" Family transportation habits also undergo changes. Teenagers, inspired by the idea of reducing their carbon footprint, convince their parents to use public transport, bicycles, or carpool more often. In some families, decisions are even made to give up a second car or switch to hybrid models. The mechanism for making such decisions usually goes through 3 stages: informing, persuading, and collaborative action. First, the teenager shares knowledge, then demonstrates a personal example, and finally, suggests specific steps for the whole family. The key success factor is not imposition, but engagement, when environmental practices are perceived not as a limitation, but as new opportunities. Digital environmental activism, despite all its advantages, faces serious challenges that limit its effectiveness. One of the main problems is slacktivism, where online actions create the illusion of participation without real impact on the situation. Clicking a like button or signing a virtual petition can give a sense of duty fulfilled, but it does not lead to systemic changes. 15-year-old Irina from Krasnodar, who actively shared posts about saving forests, admitted, "I felt like an eco-activist, but when friends invited me to a real tree planting event, I realized I had never gone beyond comfortable online participation." Environmental hype is another dangerous trend, where teenagers get involved in trends not out of genuine concern for the planet, but for social approval and popularity. Information bubbles exacerbate the problem. Social media algorithms create closed ecosystems where teenagers only see confirmation of their views, losing touch with the diversity of opinions and approaches. Digital inequality remains a serious barrier. Millions of teenagers from low-income families and remote regions lack access to the technologies needed to participate in digital activism. Eco-anxiety is becoming a growing problem. The constant stream of negative news about the climate crisis causes many teenagers to feel helpless and desperate. To overcome these challenges, new approaches are needed. A combination of online and offline activity, the development of critical thinking, psychological support, and the creation of inclusive digital platforms accessible to all. The future of environmental activism is being born at the intersection of the virtual and real worlds. Virtual and augmented reality technologies already allow teenagers to literally immerse themselves in the ecosystems they strive to protect. 16-year-old developers from Singapore created a VR application demonstrating the consequences of rising sea levels in specific cities. Donning VR glasses, the user sees their street flooded. Such an experience proves dozens of times more convincing than any statistical data. Artificial intelligence is becoming a powerful ally for young environmentalists. Machine learning algorithms help analyze vast arrays of environmental data, making them accessible and understandable for teenagers. A group of high school students from Barcelona developed an AI bot that tracks a user's ecological footprint and offers personalized recommendations for reducing it. Blockchain technologies provide unprecedented transparency for environmental initiatives. Teenagers are creating decentralized platforms where everyone can track the path of a donation from the donor's wallet to a specific planted tree or a cleaned section of the coast. It is important for parents to support children's technological creativity aimed at solving environmental problems. Provide your teenager with the opportunity to experiment with digital tools. Encourage participation in hackathons and environmental startup competitions. Educators should integrate environmental themes into digital education. Project-based learning, where students create real digital products to solve environmental problems, fosters not only technical skills, but also environmental awareness. Developers of digital platforms need to consider the psychological needs of teenagers. It is important to create spaces where young people can not only act, but also receive support, recognition, and a sense of belonging to a community of like-minded individuals. The future of environmental activism lies in the synergy of high technologies and living human experience, in the balance between digital tools and real actions, in the harmonious combination of global thinking and local practices.